Hello and welcome to another edition of Chiodini's Kitchen, video game recipes made real. Now, this week it's a bit wet and drizzly and dreary outside, to be honest, and I kind of feel like cooking up some comfort food. So, with that in mind, what better recipe to attempt than the Rainy Day Beef Bowl Challenge from Persona 4? Thanks to everyone who requested this recipe, by the way. So, in Persona 4, rainy days kind of limit a lot of your social options, raining off most of the things you can normally do on any given day. However, on rainy days, you can go to Chinese restaurant Aya and attempt the Rainy Day Beef Bowl Challenge for the low price of 3,000 yen. Now, you never actually get to see the bowl itself in the game, you just see it being eaten from afar, but we do know the following things about the Rainy Day Beef Bowl Challenge. Number one, it's cooked Chinese style. Number two, there's rice at the bottom of the bowl. And number three, it's described as a tidal wave of beef. So with that in mind, here's everything you'll need to make the Rainy Day Beef Bowl Challenge and an advisable quantity of food for one person, let's face it. A tidal wave's worth of beefsteak suitable for stir frying, so that's flank, rump, sirloin or fillet, by the way. I've got some frying steaks in the fridge. 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, 3 tablespoons of honey, 1.5 tablespoons of oyster sauce, 2 tablespoons of Chinese cooking wine, or you can just use beef stock, 2 tablespoons of water, 1 teaspoon of roughly crushed black pepper, some rice and some vegetable oil. So the great thing about this recipe is it's actually got an astonishingly quick cooking time, but of course that means the prep is the most important stage. So we're going to move straight onto that, starting with the sauce. You're going to take a mixing bowl and add to it 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1, 2, 3 tablespoons of honey, 1, 2, 3, a tablespoon and a half of oyster sauce, 2 tablespoons of beef stock, 1, 2-ish, 2 tablespoons of water, and then about a teaspoon of freshly crushed black pepper. And then we just mix it all up. So fun fact about oyster sauce, I'm actually allergic to oysters and mollusks in general, so it's not really a good idea for me to be using this at all. However, I have experimented with it in the past, and I can eat some of it. Like about 2.2% of this sauce is actually mollusks. So I've had it in stir fries before, and it's not like been enough to trigger an allergic reaction or anything. Just yeah, I just thought that was an interesting thing to mention. I'm kind of playing with fire here, so never say I don't do anything for you. Anyway, the next step is to go to the fridge and get out our steaks, because it's time to cut these up into very small pieces, thin strips I should say, suitable for stir frying. Alright, so here's our tidal wave of beef, and the thing about this recipe is the beef is best served when it's just finished cooking. So with that in mind, I'm actually going to start making the rice now, because that's going to take longer to cook than it is to do everything else. So the rice is cooking off now, which means it's probably time for the mandatory animal interlude that we enjoy so much here on Chiodini's Kitchen. Let's go see what the pets are doing. Watson! Hello. Wait. Okay. Good girl. Couldn't find Luna, sorry about that. Anyway, it is now time for us to get the wok out. We're going to heat up some vegetable oil over a high heat, then we're going to throw in the beef for 40 seconds, a minute maximum, before then removing it to a plate. And I'm telling you all of this now because I'm going to have to move quite fast and I don't really have time to set up the shot again once I start cooking. So here's our beef. There are still some pink bits in it, as you can see, but that doesn't really matter. What we're going to do now is turn the heat down to a nice medium, put the wok back on over it, and then add the sauce in and just start to simmer it down for maybe a minute until it starts to go kind of thick and the bubbles get large and caramel coloured, and then we're going to throw the beef back in to warm it through, and then it'll be done. Hope all that made sense. Turns out I wasn't recording when I threw it into the pan, but here it is simmering down anyway. Hooray! Alright then, so we've got our rice and we've got our beef, so there really remains nothing else to be done but to build the rainy day beef bowl challenge. Rice, beef, and there she blows, Persona 4's Rainy Day Beef Bowl Challenge. Certainly looks pretty good, smells quite nice, but how does it taste? Okie dokie, Rainy Day Beef, using the Power Rangers chopsticks my other half bought me because she thought it would be funny. Here goes. That tastes almost exactly like beef jerky, like in a really, really good way. There's kind of a sweetness and a meatiness to it, obviously, but then you just get the pepper that just kind of like whacks you in the face. And you got the oyster sauce and the soy coming in there and just making everything really salty. That is really, really tasty, given the relatively simple ingredients and the short cooking time. That really packs a punch. I'm a big fan of that. Now, obviously, this being the Rainy Day Beef Bowl Challenge, I'm sure a lot of you are wondering whether I can eat the whole thing and whether I'm going to eat the whole thing. And unfortunately, the answer is no, I can't, and so I won't, because, as I mentioned, I am allergic to oyster sauce. I can eat some of it. If I were to eat all of that, I would probably end up being quite ill. So, with all the love in the world, as much as I would like to just film a time-lapse of myself eating this entire thing, I don't think that's a very good idea. Sorry. Alright, so that about does it for this episode of Chiodini's Kitchen. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, there are plenty more for you to watch, alongside a lot of other videos from Eurogamer that should be sort of framing my face nicely now. Do consider liking and subscribing, but honestly there is no pressure either way. Thank you very, very much for watching, and have a lovely day.